Good afternoon. Welcome back to all of you here. I welcome on behalf of the Department of Economics, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, in the last day of the 2 days international conference on digitalization, new media and video game culture. As you know, this is a collaborative event which was in collaboration with Digital Sociology of Indian Sociological Society and 𝐼𝒏𝒕𝒆𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒊𝒐𝒏𝒂𝒍 in Gamification Research and Education Argentina and many other Latin American countries group, including International Sociological Association, Digital Sociology Research Committee. This event, as you have witnessed, has been going with lot of rigorous effort by the collaborators. And today now we are here to have our valedictory session, the concluding session. We have with us one of our most senior professor and OSD 1, Professor Shagufta Shaheen ma'am. I request madam to come on dais. Professor Shagufta Shaheen ma'am is Professor of English in the Department of English. I also request Dean School of Social Sciences, Professor Farida Siddiqui to come on dais. I also request Professor Abdul Mateen Sahab, who is going to be giving valedictory address, to come on dais. And I would also request our friend Dr. Laskar to come on dais. He'll be presenting his brief on the conference 2 days technical sessions. Laskar is also co-convener of Digital Sociology of Indian Sociological Society. It is our pleasure to have all these people here in this gathering who have been mastermind all the efforts with them for the successful conduct of this 2 days program. In fact, it is now almost, we would complete 1 year when this idea germinated, started. We discussed in Northeast Meghalaya, and it's almost this December we were discussing in 2022. We are happy that the program is organized, went successfully, and we are concluding happily on the last day of this event. So I welcome all, and I also thank all the paper presenters coming from various parts of the country, and many young, mostly young minds, young generations joining this event. Perhaps this digitalization and then whole idea of digital sociology, so digital world belongs to the youth, and youth have taken up. I'm also happy to see that this conference was purely interdisciplinary. None of us were finding a common connect of our own discipline with the others. Yes, the connect was the research area, research efforts, and research nuances we have been doing. So that makes any organizing group to be feeling very happy, satisfied, and to show that satisfaction, to have that fulfillment, we will have a brief report from the co-convener. Before we do that, may I request our any friend to present a bouquet to Professor Shagufta Shaheen on behalf of the organizing committee. Irshad will be presenting bouquet to Professor Shagufta Shaheen. And any voluntary photographs? Yeah. Irshad, I'll trouble you again. We could not welcome our friend MS Mahmoodul Hassan Laskar. So I request Farida ma'am to welcome Laskar. He has been doing a lot of effort into this event, and all the time we had Google Meet meetings, international collaborators meeting. He'll be keep doing scheduling those schedule, and half of us will miss the time, but he would remind us that today we have a meeting to discuss about this. So we are grateful that he was doing a lot of effort on behalf of the digital sociology. In that direction, now I request him to present a brief report about the last 2 days program.
Very good afternoon, respected chief guest of the valedictory session of 2 day conference. And particularly, I am very honored to share the dais with my teacher, Professor Abdul Mateen. And I'm in the digital sociology and particularly involved in the digital sociology because of the Mateen sir. And this is the first initiative of Digital Sociology, Indian Sociological Society, to organize the international conference on digitalization, new media, and video game culture. And the very idea behind the organizing of the conference was to develop the various discourses in the context of digital revolution, digitalization, information society, and digital society concerned. So this conference was well responded by our dear participants, various delegates, and we were well coordinated with the collaborators from Latin America, particularly the colleagues from Mexico, Colombia, then Chile, Grenada, and some other countries. Also, we had collaborations from UK, LSE, and Sharjah, and some from Netherlands, but due to the changing of schedule, they could not make it to come, but some were ready to come. So it was well prepared, and finally it is successfully being organized with the humble support of MANUU, particularly Farida ma'am, Zia sir, and all other department colleagues and university colleagues. And the conference was conference had received more than 70 papers, and it was presented mainly by 45 participants, nearly 45 participants in 4 or 5 technical sessions. So particularly I would focus on some of the pertinent questions, the issues that have come up from the conferences on all the technical sessions, and paper which were mainly interdisciplinary. So the questions which mainly driven by this conference is game as industry or game as culture industry in the context of the information society or digital society, gaming culture as youth, new youth subculture, that is global youth culture, and gaming as a youth subculture. We are not creating a dichotomy of the culture at the one hand or gaming culture in the other hand, but gaming culture in the digital society, how developing as a subculture, youth subculture, or how a subculture in the digital society or a trend of subculture is going on. That is a discourse that has arisen from the conference. Then game and learning pedagogy and role of AI. This is particularly concerned with the education, learning process, teaching, learning, and many more aspects. Then a conference also focused on game as new media of communication. As we have focused on new media, that game is a media. Media today is not just a form of communication. Media is more of a the medium of exchange of relation, exchange of information, and today in the information society, information is called business, information is industry. So game is not just a venture of playing games, it's also a form of new media, or it is a media. Then a digital society and redefining of various social institutions, as some of the papers focused on how new social institutions can be redefined, like education, digital literacy, digital divide, many more such issues. So these issues are mainly raised in the conference as a question or as a matter of discourse in the upcoming research and upcoming activities of the digital sociology or in this particular subject. So I hope this conference will lead or will mark the beginning of the new area of research, and particularly because of this, because of the interest of the youths and the research scholars from all budding academicians from different disciplines, I hope it would be very successful. And at the end, I would like to say that the conference, the proceedings will also be processed. There will be work on the conference proceedings in the form of book, in the form of journal, special issue. So the papers we have received and all the papers which we are going to receive will be peer reviewed. There will be process. So we will work on this particular aspect, and we are working to collaborate with some reputed publications, internationally reputed publications. So I hope with this product of the conference in the form of publication would make the conference more successful. And thank you very much for the opportunity by the MANUU and Jia ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Hasan Saab. That was really very important to know that somebody who is collaborating is happy and ending happily with a request, appeal, and also a sincere appeal that you all will be revising your papers and sending to us, so that the outcome of this seminar comes in a very strong volume, because you all know that this is the only research committee who is working on digital sociology, and this will be definitely a landmark study on behalf of the Indian Sociological Society. So please keep that in considerations. Now the time has come to hear and listen somebody who has not spoken his mind, his thought, his long experience, and somebody who introduced information sociology, information network, digital sociology in India, but people were not aware about it. People were not understanding that this is so important, and that began 30 years ago. Today, in this 2023, we are forced to understand and forced to travel ourselves into the area of digitalization, digital culture, digital world, game, and video culture. And we do have with us Professor Abdul Mateen, who was the only person talking about manuals and network society, information society long ago in Indian sociology. We never thought that Indian sociology was deprived of this area, but today this is getting enriched by these kind of deliberations. So we are happy to have him. Professor Abdul Mateen, as many of you would recall, that he was in Aligarh Muslim University in the Department of Sociology. I think some of our colleagues and friends are here who have passed from AMU and they were students, but somebody who retires from any department doesn't make sense. But those who have been working in the area, they remain our mentors wherever they are, because of their writing, their guidance, and their encouragements. So Professor Abdul Mateen is one such person who has been inspiring young minds and anyone who interacts with him. We are very grateful that he is with us and agreed to deliver valedictory address. So I kindly request you, sir, to deliver valedictory address.
Professor 𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒆𝒏𝒂𝒍, chief guest for this occasion, Professor Farida Siddiqui, Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Dr. Laskar, Dr. Zia, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'm grateful to all of you, and especially the organizers, for giving me an opportunity to share on the theme I have decided to speak on: in pursuit of gamification for education with ethical algorithm. Perhaps I also don't know much about this subject, and I try to understand what it is all about. So let us see that how clear I am on this area, and maybe it's a very long paper, and if I read it may take 3-4 hours, and obviously I'm told that I have to finish it within 15 to 20 minutes. So first of all, how do I conceptualize gamification and its application in education? My understanding. This is more a kind of systematic literature review over 50 articles of national and international significance. And my understanding based on that literature is gamification refers to the integration of game elements and mechanics into non-game context, such as education. It involves using game design principles such as competition, rewards, and challenges to engage and motivate learners in educational settings. Gamification has gained popularity in education as it has been found to enhance student engagement, motivation, and learning outcomes. By incorporating game-like features into educational activities, gamification offers a more interactive and immersive learning experience for students. According to Jamie Woodcock and Mark R. Johnson, published in 2018, gamification is the application of game systems such as competition, rewards, and qualifying player user behavior into non-game domains like work, productivity, and fitness. These practices are problematic as they capture play in the pursuit of neoliberal rationalization and managerial optimization of working life and labor. Sophia Schobel and her team, published in 2019, are of the view that gamification refers to using games or game design elements in non-entertainment based contexts to achieve predefined desired outcomes. These outcomes can range from improved student learning, more efficient use of organizational information system, that is IS, more regular system use and behavior changes in users that improve their health. Gamification is an informal umbrella term for using game elements in non-gaming systems to improve our user experience and engagement in various contexts such as finance, health, education, sustainability, and productivity. It is defined as the process of enhancing information systems with motivational affordances to invoke gameful experiences and provoke behavioral outcomes such as continuous IS use. They have also observed that critics show that we need a broader perspective on gamification, as most researchers conceptualize gamification as involving a points, badges, leaderboard, that is PBL, logic to gamify information systems. One should approach gamification design as a process rather than a random selection and combination of game design elements. The objective of this study in this article is, in my keynote address, using ethical algorithms in gamification for education is crucial to ensuring fairness and inclusivity. By employing algorithms that are transparent, unbiased, and free from discrimination, educators can create a safe and equitable learning environment. This approach promotes equal opportunities for all students regardless of their background or abilities, fostering a more inclusive and supportive educational experience. Research questions. The systematic literature review article explores the use of ethical algorithms in gamification for educational purposes. Ethical algorithms in gamification for educational purposes can play a significant role in promoting fairness and inclusivity. By incorporating algorithms that prioritize individualized learning paths and provide equal opportunities for all students, educators can create a more engaging and accessible educational experience. Furthermore, these ethical algorithms can help identify and address any biases or discrimination that may exist within the gamified learning environment, ensuring that every student has an equal chance to succeed. The systematic literature review also engagement and motivation of students are significantly increased through the use of gamification in education. By incorporating game elements such as points, levels, and rewards, students are more likely to actively participate and remain focused on their learning. This increased engagement leads to higher levels of motivation as students feel a sense of accomplishment and progress as they advance through the game-like educational activities. Additionally, gamification can also foster a sense of healthy competition among students, further motivating them to strive for excellence and continuously improve their skills. Active learning and problem-solving skills development are also enhanced through gamification. By presenting challenges and puzzles within the game-like activities, students are encouraged to think critically and find creative solutions. This not only improves their ability to analyze and solve problems, but also promotes a growth mindset as they learn from their mistakes and persist in finding the right answers. Personalized learning experiences, increased collaboration and teamwork among students, improved retention and understanding of complex concepts through interactive gameplay. And if some of you had an opportunity to listen yesterday's last technical session, in that some of these ideas were already discussed and shared by our Latin American team. There are many studies which I have examined, but then few I will share, because of the time constraint. And one is by Ana Manzano Leon and Associates. And this study, this was published in the year 2021. And this study examines the impact of educational gamification on student motivation and academic performance over the last 5 years. A systematic literature review was conducted using the preferred reporting items for systematic review and meta-analysis, that is PRISMA methodology, in 3 multidisciplinary databases. 14 studies were included in the review, most of which reported gamification is a valid learning strategy. The results support the conclusion that educational gamification has a potential impact on the academic performance, commitment, and motivation of students. This is in a nutshell what I have shared about that study. Similarly, there are some other studies, because this paper is quite lengthy. And I will not share about other papers, but the point which I want to emphasize on ethical algorithm, and even in yesterday's last technical session, I posed before many contributors about ethical algorithm, something which I have been thinking very seriously since last almost half a decade, about ethical algorithm in general and ethical algorithm and with a specific reference to gamification as such. And when I talk of inclusion of ethical algorithm, what does it imply? So ethical considerations in gamification: ensuring fairness and equal opportunities for all students regardless of their gaming experience or background. This can be achieved by providing multiple levels of difficulty and allowing students to choose their own paths in the game. Additionally, it is important to consider the potential addictive nature of games and ensure that students are not consumed by them, balancing game time with other educational activities, protecting students' privacy and data security by implementing strict privacy policies and secure data storage systems. This includes obtaining consent from parents or guardians before collecting any personal information and regularly updating security measures to prevent unauthorized access or breaches. Furthermore, it is crucial to educate students about importance of online safety and responsible gaming practices to ensure their well-being in the digital space. Avoiding addictive behavior and promoting responsible use of gamified systems can help prevent negative impacts on students' mental health and academic performance. By implementing measures such as time limits and monitoring usage patterns, schools can help students develop healthy habits and maintain a balanced lifestyle. Additionally, fostering open communication channels between educators, parents, and students can facilitate discussions about the potential risks associated with excessive gaming and encourage responsible decision making. Transparent ethical algorithms that explain how decisions are made and provide clear guidelines for fair gameplay can promote ethical behavior in gamification. This transparency can help build trust between game developers and players, ensuring that gaming experience is based on merit rather than hidden biases or unfair advantages. Furthermore, incorporating ethical algorithms can also prevent manipulation and exploitation of players, creating a more inclusive and enjoyable gaming environment for all participants. Algorithms that prevent bias and discrimination can help ensure that all players are treated fairly and have equal opportunities to succeed in the game. By removing any potential for bias, these algorithms can promote a more diverse and inclusive gaming community where players from different backgrounds feel valued and represented. Additionally, incorporating ethical algorithms can also foster a sense of accountability among game developers as they are encouraged to create games that prioritize fairness and equality. Algorithms that prioritize learning objectives over revenue generation can also benefit players by providing them with educational and enriching experiences. These algorithms can tailor the gameplay to individual needs, helping players acquire new skills and knowledge while enjoying the game. Furthermore, prioritizing learning objectives can contribute to the overall growth and development of players, fostering a sense of personal achievements and satisfaction. Some concluding remarks. The development of algorithms that prevent bias and discrimination and prioritize learning objectives over revenue generation is crucial for creating ethical gamification in education. The case studies provided demonstrate how adaptive learning platforms, gamified language learning apps, and virtual reality simulations can be used to promote personalized instruction, cultural sensitivity, inclusivity, safety, and ethical decision making in education. Moving forward, it is important to continue researching and developing new algorithms and technologies that further enhance the ethical aspects of gamification. Time for recapitulation of what I have said in my, this address, and the paper is quite lengthy. So let me summarize what I have said. Gamification is the process of incorporating game concepts and aspects into situations that are not gaming related, like education. In order to engage and encourage students in educational environments, it is necessary to use game design elements like competition, incentives, and challenges, since gamification has been shown to improve student engagement, motivation, and learning results. It has become increasingly popular in education. Gamification makes learning more engaging and immersive for students by introducing game-like elements into educational sessions. In systematic literature review presented, it is shown how adaptive learning platforms, gamified language learning apps, and virtual reality simulations can be used to further individualized instruction, cultural sensitivity, inclusion, safety, and moral decision-making in the classroom. To achieve justice and diversify gamification for education must use, and I emphasize, I insist on this quote unquote, ethical algorithms. Educators may build a secure and fair learning environment by using algorithms that are open, fair, and devoid of bias. This strategy encourages equitable opportunities for all students, regardless of their backgrounds or skills, leading to a more supportive and inclusive educational environment. Fairness and inclusion can be greatly aided by the use of ethical algorithms in gamification for educational reasons. Educators can produce a more interesting and accessible learning environment by integrating algorithms that value personalized learning routes and offer fair opportunities to all students. Additionally, by identifying and addressing any biases or discrimination that might exist in the gamified learning environment, these ethical algorithms can help guarantee that every student has an equal opportunity to succeed. In conclusion, implementing ethical gamification in education requires the creation of algorithms that guard against bias and discrimination and place a higher priority on learning goals than income production. It is critical to keep investigating and creating new technologies and algorithms that improve the moral dimensions of gamification in education going forward. Conceptualization is covered in the first section of my address, which is then followed by education, and ethical algorithms are highlighted in the second section of the SLR analysis. And the investigation subject is wrapped up in the final portion. So this is in a nutshell what I have understood in pursuit of gamification for education with ethical algorithm. Believe me, I was as new to this area of specialization as many of you may be, and I have made my attempts to enhance my understanding about the subject. To what extent I have really understood it, it's up to you to decide. Thanks a lot again for giving me this opportunity to share my views on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was delightful listening you, and the area you highlighted last evening with the international presentations, and now you could elaborate us what was algorithm and the entire debate about this. So I think that was the best way to have valedictory address today evening. Now I would request Professor Farida Siddiqui to briefly share her thoughts before we go for certificate distribution and then listening to presidential address. Ma'am.
My colleague and friend, who happens to be OSD of the university, Professor Shagufta Shaheen, my old colleague and friend and mentor, Professor Abdul Mateen, my young colleague, Dr. Ziauddin, and our partner, Mahmudul Hassan Sahab, who has come all the way from Meghalaya. As a student of economics, let me confess that I absorbed a wealth of knowledge in this international conference, because whenever we start thinking of, or think about digital economy or digitalization, we do other kind of research. And through this seminar, I could understand that video game is not merely a game. It is not a source of entertainment. It is now an industry. I could see that when the speakers from Chile and Argentina and New Zealand were making presentations on digitalization and video game and all that, I could realize that basically it is an industry and people are seriously working working on the efficiency and the productivity of video game industry all over the world. And we were really surprised to know that Latin America, Mexico was the biggest consumer of video games, and the games were produced by the Western affluent countries. So production is taking place, distribution is happening, and then consumption activity is also taking place. So obviously that becomes a significant part of the digital economy. Until now, the people working in economics were not thinking on these lines. So I would like to thank Professor Mateen. That is why I call him mentor. I was a bit reluctant to organize international conference on this particular theme, but Professor Mateen was very strict on the theme of the conference. I said, no, we will organize. And now I confess again that you were right. And we took the right decision to organize this conference. Now digitalization is playing important role in everything. Health sector is being revolutionized. Now the doctors are performing surgeries using artificial intelligence. Research in economics, obviously in social sciences, many people are using. But through health, it is actually changing the lives of the people. So something which is changing the lives of the people for the good actually should be seriously deliberated upon, and we should dig out more details, and we should try to investigate more on the role of digitalization and why video game industry is flourishing or should flourish. It has, this is a very rosy picture, no doubt about it, but video gaming also has its own challenges. On one hand, it is good that as a student of economics, I understand that it is an industry, it is creating employment opportunities in the world. So trickle down effect is taking place, and it is contributing to the GDPs of the countries where this industry is flourishing. But it is, on the other hand, it is also at the same time, trying to, it is also, widening the gap between the haves and have-nots. So people who are having the excess of technology are going to be good or bad, and people who do not have access to technology will be again good or bad, because it has positives as well as negatives. After lunch we were discussing, inequalities is one dimension where video gaming or digital economy is influencing the labor market, because positively and negatively. Again, innovation is one such thing which is responsible. So if you are going for innovation, you will be part of the haves, and if you do not have innovation, if you then you will be part of the have nots. If you have a skill, a particular skill, you will be this side, otherwise you will be the part of the have nots. So the gap between the haves and have nots is going to be widened. So then again, education sector, if you have the access of technology, you will be better off, and if you do not have, then you will not be, because in COVID we have seen the role of mobile phones, smartphones, and we have seen that students could do something even if they were sitting in the four boundary walls of their homes. So its positives and negatives can't be ignored. Another important point which I think Professor Shagufta Shaheen in her presidential address would speak upon is the impact of digitalization on communication, because people are extremely busy in the virtual world. Now the analytical skills, the logical skills, the children also are busy in the virtual world. We have, they are also creating virtual economies. They are not, they are earning money which is like digital money, and but they are not interacting with each other. So is the technology or digitalization process affecting the interpersonal relationships, or the analytical ability or logical skills? I think Professor Mushtaq Patel and our friends from education department would look into this particular dimension, where because interacting with each other actually improves the communication ability, but here the children are busy in their own lives. So these kinds of challenges, when we do research, should not ignore. This type of conference has to be a multidisciplinary perspective in nature, because we cannot focus only on technology and we cannot focus only on digital economy. We need to look into a holistic perspective. We should start learning, because we have been from entirely a different type of perspectives which we have been exploring. I think we will now start a journey of continuous learning digitally. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming all the way from all corners of the country and participating in this conference and making it a very big, successful event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The success also ends with the satisfaction that we carry some tokens, and there are no tokens, but there are some certificates which we wish to hand over all the paper presenters now. So I would request our volunteers and I would request our guest, Professor Shagufta Shaheen ma'am, to help in this handing over the certificate to all the participants. So that will be really very useful. I would quickly name all the paper presenters. Whoever are here, please come and collect from the dais. Nikita Tevanur. Nikita, yeah.
Dr. Ziauddin, Professor Shagufta is requesting that everybody, you should request Mateen Sahab also to distribute.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Some certificates by Professor Shagufta and some
Yeah.
by Professor Mateen.
Yeah.
And of course, our
Yeah. Yeah. Nikita will receive from ma'am. Yeah. And
please choose a location where you get a good picture, nice picture.
अभी जुगाड़ लगाया था. Anish Vasudevan. And I request Professor Abdul Mateen, Professor Farida Siddiqui, and Hassan Laskar Sahab to all join this certificate distribution. Yeah. Anish. Sabah Khatun. At least 5 men. Sabah Khatun. Satyabrata Sahu. He is from Indira Gandhi National Urdu University, National Open University. Urdu बोलने की आदत हो गई. Yeah. This will give me. Aanchal Chaudhary from University and Science Technology from Meghalaya.
Okay, sure. Then I will. This is me.
Clap for your friends. Yeah. Dr. Manoj.
You should support each other by clapping.
Manoj from Pune. Yeah. Shamnam Parveen. Mateen Saab, please. Professor Abdul Mateen. Yeah. Arifa Samreen. Shabnam is a scholar from MANUU. Arifa. She will receive from Professor Abdul Mateen. She's from Jamia Millia Islamia. Sudeep Boi has come from all the way from West Bengal, University of Purulia, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. Ma'am, sir. Sir. Dr. Shamim Razvi. He is one of our colleagues from Polytechnic of Cuttack campus. Yeah. 𝘃𝐻𝑢𝐿𝐻𝑜𝑒𝑢𝑠. 𝘃𝐻𝑢𝐿 is from North. Farida ma'am will be handing over. Yeah. Last year we were at Nehu, 𝘃𝐻𝑢𝐿. Last December. Audriana is next. Audriana has come from Meghalaya. Thank you. She teaches in a college at 𝘕𝘢𝑏𝒕𝒆𝒏𝒂𝒕. Najma Mushtaq. Piyup Mahali. Okay. Dr. Sudeep will receive. Yeah. Yeah. Professor Mushtaq Ahmed I. Patel, our senior colleague, and all the three guests from the NAS. Yeah. Our friend Dr. Mohsina Anjum Ansari.
She's really efficient.
Dr. Umme Salma. She is in Department of Education and Training at MANUU. Dr. V.S. Sumi. Dr. Nazma Begum from Department of Education and Training. Syed Asim Suhail. No? Okay, I'll receive later. Dr. Rafia Kazim. Her paper was on digital and Dehat in Bihar, yeah. Ashwini Gule has come from University of Mumbai. Azhar Mustafa Ansari. Hassan Sahab, you also please join. Idhar nahi. And Muhammad Irshad. Dr. Tayyiba Nazli. Yeah. Chanchal. She has come from University of Delhi. Pinda Shisha, if I am correct to pronounce. Afreen Mahmood. Afreen has come from University of Mumbai. Mahroof Ahmed from Department of Economics. And thank you so much, all the dignitaries. Please take your seat. And if anyone has missed out to collect their certificate, they may quickly contact Afreen and Sadia. And in case of any other issues, please get in touch. Now, the time has come to listen the person for whom we were waiting to have presidential remarks. Professor Shagufta Shaheen is a professor in the Department of English. She is one of the very bright academicians, has been known in the field, and I believe that academic and administrative experience makes that somebody like Madam should be very important person to deliver gathering like this. We are fortunate to have that she agreed to accept our invitations. So thank you, ma'am. I kindly request you to deliver a presidential address.
Thank you, Dr. Zia, for those kind words. It's very heartening to note that the topic on which this conference has been organized is considered as difficult as I thought it was for me. So when I heard Professor Farida and Professor Mateen saying that they were a little diffident about the topic, I felt very, contented, because I was thinking, what would I speak? Being in an administrative position and also having a friend in a very high position puts you in a tight spot. So I was thinking, what would I speak today? Because people were throwing names like digitalization, algorithms and algorithms. And somebody from the Department of English, I thought, what would I do? What would I say about these things? I don't know anything about, maths. I don't have a maths background. So I was wondering what I would do. So I felt a little relieved when the experts also said they found the topic a little, difficult to speak about. So, but then again, it's very nice to notice that most of the participants here are from outside. They thought the topic must have attracted them. So it is very, very important topic that they have chosen. And also representation from various departments, like I think Professor Zia has pointed out, it is an interdisciplinary topic. So we can justify the economic department pitching in, because as we have realized, it's a very lucrative business. this from my Department of English, I will also say that we are also involved in using these games to address and to incite some kind of interest in our students. Psychology, yes, because of the kind of problems it is, creating in students. So I find that some way or the other, every department is being roped in, and it is interdisciplinary, more so because it has to do with society. So whether no one can just say that I do not have anything to do with the topic, like I was thinking, because when I was wondering what I would do with, but in terms of society, we are all involved. Especially also when we are talking about not just society, but culture that it entails, and also ethics. So we are all somehow our stakeholders in the society, in the culture, and in preservation of ethics. So we cannot just say and raise your hands and say we cannot have anything to do with the topic. We are caught into it. We are, whether we like it or not, whether as teachers, as parents, we have to address, we have to get involved and deliberate on this important topic that this Department of Economics has organized the conference on. And when I thought, I was, what I should say about this particular topic, I could think only about the negative aspects of, to be very frank, about this gamification that we are talking about, because as a parent, I have experience, what all I have undergone to pull my sons out, from away from the video games and divert them towards their studies. So in a way, as a parent, I have suffered because of these video games. So I was also wondering, there were a lot of issues that we address in terms of the problems of video games and the digitalization of the economy that is happening. It is a very lucrative business. And yes, naturally, when money is involved, it is very, very difficult to just wash your hands off it, because somehow every businessman wants to get involved in it. Because what they do is, even we play games on the phone. So in order to hook you up, first it is free to play. And then children get involved, get attracted towards this game, and parents also don't mind because they are free. But then naturally, once you are hooked, you have to pay to play. So there is, some kind of a pressure, which is not very obvious. It is a kind of an advertising strategy that they adopt, where it is free. Naturally, we are all attracted. But then once you're hooked onto it, you cannot leave it. There is money that is involved. And as from the Department of English, like as I was telling you, we encourage, use the mindscapes that on the phone that come. It doesn't involve, it's not a game, but it's to strengthen your vocabulary, that we talk about Wordle. Then if you all know the New York Times every day gives a Wordle. So, it's not a game, but it's something that is digital to enhance the vocabulary. We also have games like Kahoot and Socrative, where we encourage, because nowadays it's not just the phone, it's not just your PC, it's not your desktop. Even we are using smart classrooms in our teaching as a teaching aid. So we are encouraging in the Department of English our students to motivate them. We use the smart classroom and encourage them through Socrative and Kahoot to enrich their vocabulary. No doubt it is the largest entertaining industry for children. Nobody can doubt that. And and video games by themselves per se are not bad in themselves. Just like any other thing, in moderation, I'm sure they would be effective, because there are also some advantages in terms of developing their cognitive skills, in inciting some kind of a competitiveness. So by per se, it is not harmful by themselves. It depends on what you are playing and also the duration of the time that you're playing maybe. I'm sure all these topics might have been covered in your previous topics. Maybe I'm repeating myself, so I don't know, and mine might appear a very layman's approach to the topic, because many literary and academic papers might have submitted. So mine is just a very, objective, as I see it, from the perspective of, a citizen, from the society that I see, that I'm presenting my ideas here. So what I would like to say, that it is like an addiction, like any other addiction, where you take, whether it is in proportion, it is good, but when it goes out of proportion, naturally it has its negative impacts. Especially when it comes involving money, when it comes to gambling, when it comes to, as I told, once you're hooked, you tend to continue to pay, then it becomes very, very problematic. Yes, I would also like to not create a very pessimistic or very negative image of gaming, because there are, I'm sure, some positive which you might have discovered, especially for those people who are shy, who are introverts. Maybe it will give them a platform to interact. Combined with it also is a danger which I always, as a parent, would fear, as to who's on the other side of the virtual reality. Because we are so very worried today about child abuse. We are so very, worried about the pedophiles that are all there. We don't know whom your child is interacting with. So that always used to, make me restless, because in any other game that we used to play earlier, in physical games that we used to play, the parent and child would play together. But this is a game where the parent is isolated. He is distanced from the child, and he's developing and living in a virtual world of his own, where you don't know who's on the other side of the screen, whether because they might be anonymous. They might have, a kind of a duplicity in terms of their identity. So these are the dangers, as I would like to share with you all. And I'm sorry if I'm repeating, if all these feel very trivial, and if all this has been shared by other speakers earlier. The psychological impact of these games we have seen, especially because in terms of the violence. Because what I have noticed is that though we speak about the what should I say, about the gender in terms of the female participation in games, which I don't know whether I would say fortunately or unfortunately is missing when it comes to video games. Maybe that is why they are addressed more to violence. Most of these, video games involve violence. And needless to say, you find these violence, maybe I'm wrong, but you find it in America in terms of the shooting that happens in schools, the kind of antipathy or being numb to gory violence that they see. I don't know how, small children, they just, because I think engaging in those games make them so very immune to actual reality. So they don't care to, they don't give it a second thought to just picking up their gun and just doing boom, boom, boom. Because they've been trained to do that. So that thin line between reality and virtuality, I think, tends to get dimmed because of these video games. So they are more prone to violence. I wish that this gaming industry also would come up with games which are more addressed to creating a balanced society, more tolerable society, and more engaging and endearing society for one another, rather than concentrating so much on producing only these violence-oriented games. I congratulate the Department of Economics and also the collaborator, Digital Sociology of India, International Association, for choosing MANUU for their conference, and I hope that we have many such conferences in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, we take away the balanced life balanced society with less violence, less addictions to game. But all the stereotype inhibitions we had about videos. Last evening we were enjoying the way video industry and game industry in Latin America is growing, and they're doing a lot of research. So our stereotype got somewhere broken by their research that it is not really what we think. It is beyond that. In fact, more of the videos it is something that they prepare kids for the new life, future life, and through videos those inculcation of ideas comes through. So perhaps that is how cultural difference comes in, and lot more social sciences studies are demanded in this area of digitalizations. With this, we come to the end of the 2 days conference. To save time, the ritual of vote of thanks I'll do, so that I'll not make you to stay more here. But before I thank everyone, let me thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Syed Anil Hasan Sahab, for giving all the freedom, keeping us doing this work for the last few months, and despite of postponement, we could have it here in the campus. Also to the Registrar of the University for giving all the logistic supports, approving the files. The organizer was also Dean of School of Social Sciences, so we had that privilege to some modification changes in the date and getting approval from the Dean office. But beyond that, the support from the university, different sections like Public Relation Office for giving all the news coverage. You may not have seen, but our news are covered. Dr. Sarwari. For that, Dr. 𝐃𝐢𝐿 Latif, our colleague from Department of Translation Studies, has been reporting for every day and sending reports to the news and media. Dr. Mohsina Anjum Ansari, Professor Patel Sahab handling some of the areas. The team who is taking care of entire recording, live telecasting, and giving very valued space for us, because usually they have packed days, but then they agreed to spare these 2 days. So I thank the director of the media center, Rizwan Ahmed Sahab, and his team, very dedicated team. You would have seen last 2 days they have been sitting all through in this room, and all the time calling and asking us that the timings are getting delayed, you will start and you should finish it up. So Hasmat, Ghaus, Ghayas, Ahmad, Satish, Ubaid, Ghayasuddin, Shakil, Shapur, and if any more names, I thank all of them because they do a lot of hard work without it being there. Dr. Hassan Sahab, Dr. Fazal, Dr. Javed, and all the colleagues, Dr. Hilal, Ihtisham, and Dr. Vivekanand, our colleagues in the school have been very helpful, staying all around and asking all the time that if there is any need to do, and also handling the sessions. And I also thank all the chairs for technically handling session timely, especially Professor Siddiqui Muhammad Mahmood, Professor Afroz Alam, Professor Muhammad Shahid, Hassan Laskar, Professor Abdul Mateen, and all the other moderators who were there in the technical sessions. And if I don't name my team, and if I don't name my team who have been working here, I'll name them so that I feel good about it. Afrin, Sadia, Osama, Mubashir, Altaf, Fazil, Sabina, Sad, Irshad, Faisal, Murtuza, Salim, and any other name I miss, please forgive me. These are all PhD research students of Department of Economics and Sociology. They have been doing all the work themselves. So thank you all for keeping your department, your university in the line. And lastly, I also thank तैमूर यहाँ बैठे हैं डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स के तैमूर शब्बीर पूरी चाय और चाय की खातिर इंतज़ाम के लिए विदाउट शुगर टी भी अरेंजमेंट के लिए शफीक डीन ऑफिस से और Anusa and Vijay from the Dean Office. They have helped a lot to us. And today afternoon we have Shagufta ma'am for sparing her valuable time. She had a meeting और मुझे लग रहा था बीच में मैम को जाना पड़ेगा, but I'm thankful to you that you stayed all through and encouraged us for having this very, very important session, concluding session. So thank you so much, ma'am. And lastly, I must thank on behalf of the Maulana Azad National Urdu University to our collaborators, Professor Abdul Mateen, International Sociological Association's Digital Sociology, Professor David Dunas, and all the Latin American collaborators for accepting and working with us. We look forward for more rigorous and many more meaningful events like this. Inshallah, we'll be holding many more conferences in future. But with all that, please revise your papers, send us so that we will be finding satisfaction out of those research papers being published. We are working over, and there will be very good team of editors who will be looking after the papers. So once again, I thank everyone, all of you, and I hope that you enjoy the campus. Thank you all. We now conclude.
One name is still missing. I take this opportunity to thank 𝑰𝒏𝒕𝒆𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒊𝒐𝒏𝒂𝒍.
Oh. I thought whom I missed. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Without 𝑰𝒏𝒕𝒆𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒊𝒐𝒏𝒂𝒍 this conference would not have been possible. So thank you, Zia. Thank you.
Thank you. Now this session concludes. Thank you. All the best.